the rolling giant. The rolling giant is a colossal animated statue featured in The Oldest View, an analog horror series created by Kane Pixels. Set within the decaying ruins of a once bustling underground shopping mall, the giant emerges as the mall's most terrifying secret. According to the series lore, the mall, loosely inspired by the real Valley View Center in Dallas, was long abandoned after a mysterious closure. Within its eerie, echoing corridors, the rolling giant now roams endlessly. At first glance, the giant appears to be a massive humanoid sculpture, its design reportedly inspired by an old French statue of a botanist. Unlike ordinary statues, however, this one moves. Towering in scale, the creature combines rigid, human-made structural elements with unsettling organic features, like twisted limbs and hands that resemble overgrown foliage. Its movement is slow and deliberate, but entirely unstoppable. The creature does not run, but instead stalks, rolling through the vast shopping center in search of intruders. In the story, the protagonist becomes trapped inside the mall and soon realizes he's being hunted. The rolling giant, once a silent monument, becomes animated without warning, turning a forgotten piece of public art into a nightmarish predator. It offers no explanation and exhibits no emotion, just silent, mechanical pursuit. In The Oldest View, the rolling giant symbolizes a deeper fear, the inescapable presence of something ancient, massive, and unfeeling, buried beneath the surface of everyday places. What was once a mall is now a tomb, and the giant is its eternal warden. Bacteria. Bacteria is a hostile and predatory entity featured in The Backrooms, the analog horror series created by Kane Pixels. Known officially as Entity 3 within the series' fictional database, Bacteria is one of the first and most terrifying creatures encountered by individuals who have no-clipped into the backrooms, a liminal, seemingly infinite maze of yellowed walls, humming lights, and industrial decay. The creature is tall, black, and vaguely humanoid in shape, with limbs that extend unnaturally and a headless form that moves in quick, twitching bursts. Its body appears slick and skeletal, often described as resembling congealed smoke or rotting meat. Though it lacks eyes or visible sensory organs, Bacteria is highly aware of its surroundings, able to detect and chase victims with alarming precision. In the series, Bacteria stalks the endless halls of Level 0, the first and most iconic floor of the Backrooms. Its presence is usually indicated by distant, wet footsteps or distorted background noise. Victims often have little to no warning before it appears, usually emerging from shadowy corners or vents. Once it begins pursuit, escape becomes nearly impossible. Narratively, Bacteria represents the immediate danger of the Backrooms, an unknowable, unrelenting force lurking in a place where reality has broken down. It doesn't speak or reason, it simply hunts. For those trapped in this dimension, Bacteria is both a monster and a symbol of hopelessness, proof that once you've fallen into the Backrooms, you're not alone, and you're not getting out. Mimic. The Mimic is a predatory organism featured in Vita Carnis, the analog horror series created by Darian Quilloy. It is one of several flesh-based life forms that emerge from the anomalous biological phenomenon known as the crawl. Classified as a highly dangerous species, the Mimic is known for using vocal imitation to lure in unsuspecting human victims. The creature has a tall, skeletal humanoid frame with elongated limbs and a grotesque, partially skinned face. Its mouth stretches unnaturally wide, and its eyes are sunken and glassy. Though it lacks functional vocal cords, the Mimic can replicate human speech with disturbing accuracy, often repeating simple phrases like, "help me," or mimicking cries of distress. These vocalizations are typically stolen from past victims and played back in loops, like a broken recording. Its behavior is simple but terrifying. The Mimic remains hidden in remote areas, using sound to bait its prey. When someone investigates the voice, the creature ambushes them with speed and violence, paralyzing them before feeding. Victims are often consumed slowly over several hours, and little evidence remains afterward. In Vita Carnis, the Mimic is a direct threat to human empathy. It weaponizes our instinct to help others. It doesn't just hunt, it manipulates, creating psychological horror alongside physical danger. As with many creatures in the series, the Mimic is a product of a world where biology has turned against humanity, and mercy can be fatal. The Boiled One. The Boiled One is a grotesque and mysterious entity featured in the analog horror series, the boiled one phenomenon. It is central to a wave of unexplained events and violent transformations that begin to affect individuals across the United States in the early 2000s. The creature itself is not just a monster, it is the origin point of a disturbing biological affliction that spreads like an epidemic. Physically, the boiled one resembles a distorted humanoid corpse. Its skin appears severely blistered or melted, as though it has been scalded by extreme heat. Its face is partially eroded, with exposed muscle and empty eye sockets. It moves slowly and with difficulty, yet it emits a presence that causes severe psychological and physical effects in those nearby. In the series, exposure to the boiled one, or even media depicting it, triggers horrifying symptoms in viewers. Victims begin to show signs of boiling flesh, skin lesions, and hallucinations. Some become violent or suicidal. The condition is so infectious that the government intervenes, classifying it as a national emergency and suppressing any visual or auditory records related to the creature. The boiled one's true nature remains unclear. It may be a supernatural being, a viral consciousness, or something entirely alien. What's certain is that its presence defies logic and safety. In the boiled one phenomenon, the monster represents the terror of contagion, an entity so corrupted and corrosive that merely witnessing it is enough to begin your own descent into decay. The painter is a chilling entity featured in the analog horror series Urban Spook. This creature is known for its eerie ability to manifest through paintings and graffiti, often appearing in urban environments where abandoned buildings or neglected walls serve as its canvas. The painter's presence is marked by disturbing artworks that seemingly come to life, spreading fear and chaos in the surrounding area. Visually, the painter appears as a shadowy humanoid figure, often partially obscured or fragmented, as if painted onto reality itself. Its form blends human-like features with abstract, brushstroke-like distortions, giving it an unsettling, surreal appearance. It does not speak but communicates through its creations, murals and sketches that depict horrific scenes or cryptic symbols. In Urban Spook, the painter is believed to possess the ability to trap victims within its art, effectively erasing them from the real world and imprisoning them inside painted dimensions. This entity preys on individuals who venture too close to its work or attempt to destroy it, relentlessly pursuing them through both physical and supernatural means. Victims often disappear without a trace, their last known locations filled with unsettling paintings related to their fate. The painter embodies the series' themes of urban decay and the haunting presence of forgotten spaces. It turns art, a symbol of creativity and expression, into a vessel of terror and control. Through its haunting visuals and relentless pursuit, the painter remains one of the most enigmatic and terrifying figures in Urban Spook. The Smiler. The Smiler is a disturbing and enigmatic entity featured in the analog horror series, The Smile Tapes. Known for its unsettling grin and unnerving presence, the Smiler is a humanoid figure whose defining characteristic is its permanent, exaggerated smile that stretches unnaturally across its face. This smile, rather than conveying happiness, evokes deep fear and dread. Physically, the Smiler appears pale and gaunt, with hollow eyes that seem void of emotion or life. Its smile is wide enough to suggest something almost inhuman, with sharp teeth often visible, reinforcing its menacing aura. The creature moves silently and deliberately, often lurking in the background of scenes before revealing itself with sudden, terrifying effect. Within the Smile Tapes narrative, the Smiler is associated with psychological manipulation and torment. It often appears during moments of intense emotional distress or isolation, suggesting it preys on the vulnerable. Victims report feelings of paranoia, despair, and a crushing sense of helplessness before encountering the Smiler, who seems to embody those negative emotions. The entity does not speak, but communicates through its chilling smile and presence, instilling terror without words. The Smiler's role in the series symbolizes the dark side of human emotion, a constant, sinister reminder of the pain that can lurk behind a smile. It serves as a haunting figure that blends the familiar with the terrifying, making it one of the most memorable monsters in the Smile Tapes analog horror universe. Gabriel is a sinister and deceptive entity featured in the Mandela Catalogue, an analog horror series created by Alex Kister, Portrayed as a false archangel, Gabriel is a tall humanoid figure draped in white robes, but with a horrifying and distorted form that starkly contrasts the traditional image of a benevolent angel. Unlike the true archangel, this version of Gabriel possesses unsettling features. Oversized, stark white eyes with large dark pupils and a grotesque, toothy grin. His body is unnaturally thin and elongated, contributing to his eerie, almost otherworldly presence. Gabriel's voice is soft and whispering, which makes his twisted messages even more disturbing. In the series, Gabriel acts as a manipulative antagonist who exploits religious symbolism to terrorize his victims. He often appears in visions or altered video footage to deliver ominous messages, claiming to be humanity's one true savior, while simultaneously instilling fear and despair. For example, he confronts individuals with cruel taunts and prophetic threats, causing psychological breakdowns and sometimes death. Gabriel embodies the core horror of the Mandela Catalogue, the corruption of faith and the blurring of reality and nightmare. His role is to destabilize human sanity by masquerading as a divine figure, making him a uniquely terrifying force within the analog horror landscape. His presence warns of the dangers lurking behind false prophets and the manipulation of belief. The Woodcrawler. Woodcrawler is a disturbing and enigmatic entity featured in the analog horror series Gemini Home Entertainment. It is a predatory creature that inhabits dense forested environments, embodying a blend of natural and supernatural horror elements. The Woodcrawler's presence is often associated with mysterious disappearances and unsettling disturbances in the wilderness. Visually, the Woodcrawler appears as a tall, gaunt humanoid figure made primarily of wood-like material. Its limbs resemble twisted branches, and its body is covered in bark and moss, giving it a camouflaged appearance that blends seamlessly into its forest surroundings. The creature's face is a hollow, mask-like visage, often described as carved from a tree trunk, with empty eye sockets that seem to watch silently. The Woodcrawler moves with surprising speed and agility for its size, often stalking its prey silently through the woods. It exhibits predatory behavior, ambushing travelers or campers who venture too deep into its territory. Encounters with the Woodcrawler are characterized by eerie sounds, cracking branches and whispered rustling leaves, preceding its sudden and deadly attacks. Within Gemini Home Entertainment, the Woodcrawler serves as a representation of nature's hostile and unknown aspects. It symbolizes the fear of the wilderness and the ancient, unfathomable forces that dwell beyond human understanding. Its haunting presence reminds viewers that the natural world can harbor dark secrets far beyond what we perceive.